Stroke fundamentals, basics, gripping, guarding, targeting. Point, sweet spot, but this area in here is the grip. Traditionally you're taught in FMA to space it like that. I've known guys that like fighting like this. This is more of a machete style. In my prime, before I ripped this, I liked fighting like this. Now I'm back to fighting like this as I degrade. So this is the standard grip. If you go any longer, you lose a lot of power and you start hitting yourself with this. When you twirl it, this has got to open up like that, and you never open your hand. You never do this or you're dead. That's terrible. If you see somebody doing this, just hit the stick. You want to hold it loosely here, like this. You'll hold it more tightly here. You want to keep this loose. If somebody grabs your stick, you squeeze. Bottom fingers, it's where the strength is. When you hit, you squeeze, right as you hit. That's the basics on gripping. Okay. The stick stroke fundamentals, we're doing guarding. If we were boxing, we would start out achieving a guard like this. Stepping forward, so there's an imaginary line that goes from your rear heel past your lead toe. But since we're fighting with a weapon, we'll achieve our guard by stepping back, which will be the first thing you do when you pull up a weapon to defend yourself. Turn this in a little bit, whatever you're comfortable with. I'll turn to the side now. When you get a martial artist that first starts doing this, they do this. Broken hand, done, gone, end of fight. Okay? You have to guard here. You have to guard your hand first. It's a connection with your weapon. So the elbow gets pulled back. Muscle guys have a hard time with this. Alright? It's right here. This is on guard right here to protect against the knockout. Targets. The only kill with a light stick without gear is right here. Temple, ear. So you want to deny it with your guard, and if for some reason your guard is not here, you put this up here. This is more than anything going to save you when somebody comes after you with a bat or a knife, because it protects your neck against the blade and the side of your head against the bat. Elbows. They'll take 3 hits without pads. I have fought for 2 years without elbow pads on. I won't do it anymore. It's gotten to hurt too bad. 3 hits to hold up to. You lose about 30% function on each power hit to the elbow. Same thing with the knees. I haven't used knee pads for 5 years. But nobody's hit me 3 times in the same round. Okay? If it happened, I'm sure I would be done. You lose about 30% function each time. This is just punishment. All this right here, this is just punishing the guy for doing a good job. The main target is going to be the hand. Okay? This hand doesn't break easily. It's loose. Throw it out here if you have to. You want to hit his hand up here. If you can slide down the stick, that's fine. The thumb is the most vulnerable part on the stick fighter. Go for that, then go to the head. Power points. The coiled hand is part of the guard. If you have it back here, then you can put the flexor, the big muscle and big tendon, into the stroke this close. Once you condition your forearm, you can hurt somebody just with this. Then, since you're coiled, your chest, your lats, your bicep, and your tricep will all chain through the blood. So you get to put your muscle into it if you're coiled. If you're out here, all you've got is half of your flexor capacity, and that's it. So you need to have the coiled hand. Body-arm continuity, it's just a step up from the coil. You want to keep this elbow as close as possible. A lot of traditional people get power like this. It leaves you too open. This is a nasty hit. Okay? You want to keep your elbow close to your body. It's going to protect your rib from the outside. It's not bad taking an elbow shot here. Taking an elbow shot in here is horrible. Okay? So your forehand is starting like this. This is all still glued to the body. Now it comes out. This elbow doesn't leave the body until I'm pretty sure I've got something here. Okay? Your power points, you start from the coiled hand. Then when you stroke through, your hand is going to go to an opposite chamber location. We go to the head. When we go to the head, this is open, so I cover this up here. Okay? We go to the elbow, under the elbow. We don't pin this hand. This will usually go out for a check when you go under here. You can always punish them like that. We go to the shoulder. When you go to the shoulder, you still don't pin this hand. You don't do this. Okay? You don't do this. You want to have this here. I saw a guy win a fight against the toughest stick fighter I ever saw from this guard. He got disarms and everything. It's not a guard I fight from, but it's a good recovery position. And the last one is up top like this, and you better have something going on with this because this is hanging out there. This is usually something where you're really mobile. Stroke types, number one. The number one angle in most FMA styles is a diagonal forehand. So we've kept that. Sometimes it's the lateral. The lateral forehand really doesn't work well. It'll eventually blow this out. Lateral forehands need to be low. Whenever you throw your forehand, there's going to come a point when your wrist is going to break. That's a broken wrist. That's what the umpire is checking for in baseball to make sure you committed or not to your stroke. And it's what a swordsman wants to see when he goes for his beat against your weapon, with his weapon. As soon as we get to the break, where a swordsman would keep it like this and move his ass, as soon as we get to our break, we dump it because it's the stick, this isn't the sword. Stroke types, jabbing, smashing, slashing. The jab, usually thrown from the ball of the foot, it's a retraction. It's really for hitting hands. You could tick somebody off by rattling their face cage and scoring a point, if it's not a real serious stick fight, doing this. And we do the jab drill. So this is your number one jab. Your number one smash is with the sweet spot, not with the tip. I want to synchronize my weight landing with the stick going in. That's your smash. The slash, this is where the broken wrist comes in. Your jab is for outer range, pecking away. Your smash means you committed your weight. It's favored by big guys or guys that desperately need to get in. The really vicious guys in stick fighting like the slash. Okay. There are 4 basic stroke angles. We'll go over them as a jab, as a smash, and as a slash, and I'll try to do a round where I integrate them. Okay, so 1, 2, 1, 3. These all get retracted back. So that's a 1 jab, 2 jab, 1 jab, 3 jab, 1 jab, 4 jab, 1, 4, 1, 4. Your smash, you have to do a step with it. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. 1, 2. That was a 1, 3. 1, 2, 1, 4. Slash. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4. The twirl we did earlier, you need it for the slashes. Now I'll try to mix it up a little bit. 1, jab. 2, smash. 1 slash. 2 smash. 1 smash. 2 slash. 1 slash. 4 smash. Power. Slide step and heel step. The slide step is for your jab. The heel step is for your smash. I'm staying on the ball of my foot. It's sitting down flat, but my weight's here. so that I could spring back. When you're jabbing, you're pestering the guy. Now I'm doing the heel step. I can go back for a heel step on a smash. A shift is when we're shifting which leg is in the lead. The forward shift brings the rear leg up. This is usually used in a smash attack. You get too close to a big guy, he wants to do this. For a slash, you don't do a shift with a jab. Okay. The reverse shift pairs best with the slash. He goes for your leg. There you go. You take the leg out of the way. You go to any FMA school and they teach you to bring your stick down here. They're just doing that so when you spar with the guy, he can feint at your leg, and then when you go to block it, he'll rip your head off. Okay? He's teaching you how not to fight. So that's your leg defense, and you can continue your shift as long as you have to. Lunge and reverse lunge. I'm going to do a lunge with a smash. So a lunge is a heel step when I'm launching, pushing off with this. I can't do it from the other side. Lunge, reverse lunge. I'm launching off of this. This pairs well with a slash. So I'll combine them. The pass step and the pass lunge. We're pulling the stick in the direction we're dragging our body. It's a step and drag. Step and drag. It's a step and drag. We can go closer to him. If we think he's zoning out here, our pass step can go like this and turns into a shift. So a pass launch is a launch off of this. If you know he's going high, you can get out of the way, and that body motion goes into the power of your hip. That's excellent against the hand. If he committed to this, a fade's a boxing term where you're throwing a jab as you're moving away in an oblique angle, not moving right back. So that would be like so, a drag step. It'll go with a slash in stick fighting. You're pulling out of range while you're hitting. This is ideal against the committed hand. So this is your fade step. I'm going to do a series of pivots. Pivots you're powering, but you're stationary, except for the last one. So we're going to pivot like a boxer hooking. Now, the backhand pivot, you pivot like a golfer pivots. Driving off the rear leg instead of the lead leg. When you do this kind of driving backhand, if this is down here, you're getting tackled, especially if you have a good backhand. So you need to have this. That's good. The heel pivot and the driving pivot. The heel pivot is like an aborted pivot in boxing, which is something that they use in Wing Chun and Kempo. Instead of using the pivot to power here, you're using the pivot, you're breaking it at half, and you're using it to move offline. Works better with a stick than it does in boxing. this usually needs to be a slash. The drive pivot, I'm going to start the pivot with the lead leg, and then I'm going to step, and instead of dragging right away, I'm going to drive into it as if I'm throwing a rear hand in boxing. All right, so this is good for lateral movement across the target. If the guy's really skinny and he's got a good high guard, you break his ribs with that. Okay? If he's really big and scary, you do it like this. You don't even bother pivoting, you start to pivot, and you turn it into a side lunge. Defense and stick fighting is much simpler than offense, mostly because it doesn't work as well. Aggression is king in offense. When in doubt, move. I'm going to string them together. I'm in guard. This is an inside beat and an outside beat. Inside beat, outside beat. We don't use blocks much. Blocks. Umbrella block, which is only used against a backhand or against the lefty, while you're going away. You never use this coming in or this happens. All the pressure will go right there. All you got to do is step forward and you lost it. So this is here and it sets up that. The roof block, there's 5 different variations. This is an entry. You could step out, he hits your stick, you use that and you go with it. You can do a jam like this. Okay, it's another type of entry. You don't want to use a roof block against a backhand. That's why it's safer to stick with beats when you can. But a beat doesn't work when something's coming down over top. So for your roof block, get offline, let this thing come down here. Okay? For your umbrella block, get offline. Let me string these together. Check and stab. It's a stick. We're not going to kill anybody by stabbing them. A stab is to assist in stopping them from running you over. You see this stab or this stab, that's a sword or knife technique adapted to the stick. Okay. Inside beat, outside beat, roof block, umbrella block, stab. Specialized PowerPoint guards, guy that used a lot of these, Rico Aras, just big, dominant alpha male, like beating the shit out of people. So once he got you scared, he didn't have to protect his hand too much because you didn't want to get near it. He was famous for doing this, trying to get you to throw a stroke, and then he's using his arm. He's getting his whole arm in it with this, and he's moving. Okay, so that's one. You got to be strong, aggressive, and feared. The guy that actually beat him one round in a big tournament we had fought from this. This is a good counter to that, this coiled guard. You can refuse your stick easily. It's easy to get a disarm. You can dip his stick down with your stick and then coil over top of his stick. The tuck guard, you committed too much, but at least you didn't bury this arm underneath here. Okay? So this is going to shoot out and you're going to get out. You're escaped from the coil guard. You've ever committed with a slash and you didn't move, so you're stuck there. So you stiff arm him, punish his rib, okay, and then move out. Now, if you went for a leg and you got caught, you better shield it up here, because if the guy's got this in his arsenal, you're better off taking it here than in the head. Now, this guard here, this really isn't a guard. This is something that's been done to me. When the guy went here, I went to defend against the roof block. He dropped his stick. He was a grappler. He came in under this. He wants me to hit him here so he could snake it. If I hit him here, it's deflecting, and he's snaking it. And then he comes in, he gets me in a plum, and one time he picked me up and threw me and armbarred me, and the other time he did a head crank. So those are the PowerPoint.